sometimes in order to get out of the position that you're in and like in the thing that feels so negative, you don't get to snap your finger and just be like, I'm out of here. You got to play the long game sometime. You might be like, I'm in this job, but I'm going to take classes at night. I'm in this relationship that's abusive and terrible, and I'm actually going to start making a plan. I'm going to start saving money and putting it away on the side so that I can find my way out of this. I don't like the way I look, so I'm going to actually start doing something about it a little bit every day. I'm going to curb the things that I do.
I'm Summer.
And I'm Mike.
And we got married with children.
It's been 12 years since we got this gang together.
And we're still running the rapids of living with a blended family.
And sometimes that is just not easy.
If you're looking for support and tools when it comes to divorce, step-parenting, co-parenting, and giving it your best,
you're in the right place.
We're talking about everything.
You ready to get this party started?
Always.
We're back.
Yes, we are back. We're ready to do a podcast. Have we done a podcast together in a while? It feels like it's been a little while
because Summer has been running the podcast channel by herself the last few weeks.
You know what? I'm going to be honest because I like to be honest with our audience.
Don't be honest.
No, I'm going to be honest.
Don't be brutally honest. Just be honest.
There are times when I have said to my husband here, do you want me to just take over the podcast? Because sometimes it's really hard to nail you down for a time.
There are also times where I've said to Summer, would you like me to take over the podcast? Because I feel like then I would get to talk as much as I want.
That's true too. But every time he's like, no, I want to be a part of it.
No, but it's a commitment in terms of time.
We have very different days going on because I'm pretty much my work during the day, especially now. I have like Zoom meetings and stuff, and I do stuff that doesn't require me to be places.
Summer works from home. And if you don't know this about Summer, she might be the most organized person you've ever met.
Thank you.
She has lists with lists.
I have the list, and then underneath the list, it has its own list. I do like to be organized.
So much pleasure in checking off those things when you get them done.
Mike has more of stuff where he's like running around a lot during the day. So he'll be like, just put this on the calendar and we'll make it happen. And then I guess that is the best way to make it happen. But sometimes, I don't know, COVID, that's where we get to blame COVID.
Everything, you can blame everything.
Everything gets blamed on COVID.
On COVID.
Okay. So today we're going to talk about the whole I'm a victim thing. And if you might be guilty of
having a victim mentality.
Yes, exactly.
And playing that card all the time and can't get yourself out of it because you're trapped.
And it can happen. You know what? It happens. It may have happened to a lot of people this year because there's so many things that have gone on that you're like, this isn't my fault. It's happening to me. It's happening to me. But we're going to talk about those things today. What does it look like if you might be in that mentality, and how would you get out of it? That's what we're talking about today.
This is a great topic.
I think it's a good topic. Before though, what are we going to do?
A brief message from our sponsors.
That's us, by the way. We are the sponsors here. So no, we've got an open letter.
You're going to read a letter.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Okay, so let me find this here.
Do people even know what that
is? Okay, well, let me tell you. Let me tell you what an open letter is. So if this is your first time listening to us, we have something that we just launched, which is the Open Letter Forum, which allows you to write in totally 100% anonymously, write in if you have something to vent about, if you have something you want to tell somebody.
Something you got to get off your chest.
But you would never actually say it to that person. We have a forum at everythingalways.co. If you just click on forum, you can actually submit a letter. And the way the form does it, it actually comes in and it'll say like, I think it says like, Dear John Doe or something like that. Because if you put a name, like we don't know who it's to, we don't know. Well, I think you can put in the name, but
in the body of the
we don't know who you are.
If you wanted to specify who you are, we then would know. But other than that,
we don't know. So all it does is it comes to us and it just says, you've received a submission. We have no idea. There's no tracking of it or anything. It's pretty freaking cool. I came up with this idea because it used to be very therapeutic for me to.
It's kind of like journaling, but journaling where it's actually going to be out there.
Yeah.
You get a chance to express your true feelings in a safe form. And trust me, we've gotten a few that are rants that are just these ranty, just like blah, blah, blah. They did this. Okay, that's not what this is for, right?
Well, it's a vent, but it's also not. Sometimes there's things where we're like, I think that might be inappropriate to read. So we don't. I will tell you, today's actually has there's some feistiness in it, but I felt like it was good to read because actually there was some valid stuff in here. And again, the purpose is you should be able to vent. We don't really want to be like listing off a bunch of expletives in our, so some of those we haven't read, but we do want this to be a place where you can actually write some deep feelings that you have, write a letter to somebody that never actually gets to know that
Although
you sent
if you
it to
subscribe to the secret Everything Always podcast, we'll read the uncensored. No, just kidding.
You know what? You're censored.
You're censoring me right now?
I'm censoring you right now.
Oh, man.
All right, here we go. Here's the letter for today. Dear Biomom, this is specifically written to the biomoms who have been keeping their children from their fathers. Forgive me for being blunt and angry, but I heard the option of this forum on the Everything Always podcast, and it happens to be a day when I'm really sad and really angry. For those of you who have purposely manipulated your kids into hating their father, you should be ashamed. My husband is a good man, and he has done his very best at being a good father to his kids, but you have never seen it that way, have you? If he didn't do what you wanted, you punished him, and your way of punishment was by punishing his kids. They love him, and still you did everything you could to interfere with their relationship. How dare you take away from them what is their right? I see my stepson struggling because of what you tell them. You twist the truth and make them feel that he doesn't care. If someone is truly bad, then you should call the cops or do what needs to be done so they are safe. But just because he is happier now without you and doesn't do things according to your standards doesn't mean he doesn't love his kids. You keep telling them he doesn't love them. All you are doing is telling them that they are unlovable, and that didn't come from him. That came from you. I wish I had a dad that was even half as good as my husband, but my dad left me when I was just a baby. I never knew him, and he never even tried to see me. And then when my mom remarried and I had a new dad, he didn't care about me either. He left after 2 years. I've grown up jealous of friends who had dads who cared about them, dads that showed up for them, even the dads that were strict. I was jealous of them too because at least my friends had someone who cared about them. My stepsons are such good boys, and I can see the sadness in them at such a young age. And as time goes on, they get more bitter because of what you told them. They're confused, and they are even starting to not like me either because of what you say. You've already caused your damage, and you've already taken from them what they could have had. Can you just stop now before it gets worse? If you really love them, you would let them be loved by all of us.
Wow. This is a hard thing for you and I to relate to because we both had full-time dads that were great, active, participating.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? That's thanks for the letter.
Yeah. Hey, I get the reason I was like, I feel like in our audience, especially our Everything Always audience, I see a lot. This is a common thing that fathers are not in the children's lives. And sometimes maybe it's a better thing. And sometimes I feel like it is because, we've talked about this before with parental alienation, but there's some damage being done that's preventing that relationship from being what it could be. Whoever wrote this, and I hope you're listening to this episode, I get it. I get it from the standpoint of, I don't get it from the standpoint of not having a dad being there for me, but I get it from the standpoint of going, if you only knew what your kids were missing out on, because he's a great dad. And
on that note, I think the idea is to come from a place of appreciation, right? Because something is always better than nothing. And
well, not necessarily. It depends what that something is.
I know, but I guess let me finish my point. My point here is that if you think that you're doing your kid a favor by keeping them away from somebody because of your internal feelings, because you think that they aren't good or they've hurt you, or it gets back to that ego thing, right? If you're blocking a relationship because of your own issues, then that's just not right.
Yeah. That last line is what got me when she said, let them be loved. Let me go back to it. If you really love them, you would let them be loved by all of us.
Yeah, that's right. That's powerful for sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I feel like every time I read one of these letters, we could then go into a whole podcast about that. But maybe this podcast somehow, I bet you there's some way that they kind of complement each other and blend together. Yeah. Okay, so today, here's what we're talking about today. We are talking about, are you getting stuck in the victim mentality? Let's just go through what that looks like. I have a list.
Can we check them off as we read them?
I like to stay on point.
Should we first describe what a victim mentality is?
Yeah, that's what I'm about to do. That's what I meant by what does that look like?
These are the characteristics of the victim mentality.
Exactly.
All right.
So it's being in that mindset where every day you're just kind of like, I'm in the struggle. I'm struggling every day. Every day the world is against me, right?
Okay.
Like, it's like, no matter what I do, I'm never coming up.
They're keeping me down.
Yeah. And by the way, when we say this too, sometimes it might not even be you specifically, but you might listen to this and go, oh my gosh, this is my friend. This is my mother, it might be somebody that you know. But the characteristics are like, there's always consistent drama. There's always some sort of
It's things like
trouble.
My company doesn't want to give me a raise because they don't see my value, right? It's like that internal
Or it's
thing.
like, yeah, every day there's something to
all
complain
the
about.
things that are bad are someone else's fault.
Yes. And when you're in, especially after a divorce, especially if you are in the midst of a separation, a divorce, or just blending or dating somebody new, and it's just, there's always something to complain about, whether it's his ex-wife or my ex-husband is horrible or my ex-wife is just a nightmare. It's just the constant, like, everyday complaint. And just think about, is that something that's constantly on your mind, some sort of complaint? Or it's maybe blowing something out of proportion, because maybe there is something that's going on and there is something that's troubling and that you are struggling with, but are you complaining about the same thing over and over and over again? And here, to me, is a big thing with the victim mentality. When you complain about it with a friend or somebody and they give you some advice, and then you have an excuse for the advice that they've given to you. It could be like, my ex-husband calls me every single night, like is always texting me after 11 at night and blah, 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 blah. And you would say, well, then why don't you just have your phone on Do Not Disturb, put him on Do Not Disturb so that you're not receiving
But I can't do that.
Oh no, but I can't do that, because what about when your kids are with you if you do that, so that you don't? No, because it's like there's always, I've given you some useful advice, but you're just not going to take it because perhaps you want to keep complaining about it because maybe nobody.
It's like negative strength. It's like the least efficient fuel that you can run on, but a lot of people get by and move forward on the negativity.
Yeah.
Instead of grabbing that light and going, I'm going to take the positive, no matter what's happened to me in my past, no matter where I'm at right now. I've got no excuses besides my own for why I can't be everything I want to be, do all the things I want, achieve every single thing in this short,
You're already
single
jumping
life.
to how to switch the mentality.
Sorry, I don't know. I'm getting fired up right now.
I know.
Just saying, like, it's right now, like, you are in control of yourself.
It's true.
And the only person you have to blame is yourself. It's not the person that wronged you. It's not your job. It's not your thing. You want more?
But
go get it.
Okay, you're saying that, but then a person with the victim mentality could be saying,
but I can't.
But you just don't understand. I don't have that choice to do that. And you just don't get it.
It's so easy for you to say that.
It's so easy for you to say that.
I know, right? Yeah.
So
we should have a little quiz. Like whether you fall into the victim mentality or the non-victim mentality.
Well, here's the thing. It might not be you that we're talking about right now, but even if it's somebody else, like, you know how we say, share it with someone you love, share it with someone you don't. That's like one of these episodes where you could say, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about this person? Some people actually are like aware enough to go, yeah, I'm doing those things. Oh, crap. Or some people are staying stuck in that, you don't understand.
Well, totally, right? And, you know, the thing is that Sometimes in order to get out of the position that you're in and like in the thing that feels so negative, you don't get to snap your finger and just be like, I'm out of here. You got to play the long game sometime. You might be like, I'm in this job, but I'm going to take classes at night. I'm in this relationship that's abusive and terrible, and I'm actually going to start making a plan. I'm going to start saving money and putting it away on the side so that I can find my way out of this. I don't like the way I look, so I'm going to actually start doing something about it a little bit every day. I'm going to curb the things that I do.
Yep.
Right? It might take a long time, but if you want it to be different, you have to start. And it starts with your mindset.
Yep. Exactly.
I don't know why I'm a little fired up tonight, but
no, because, well, it's frustrating. It's frustrating when you see it because especially when there's people that actually have opportunity and you can see that they're just getting in their own way. It's not all the things that they're blaming and it's actually themselves. So here's what I want to talk about before we get into like how to switch this
I'm
up.
sorry if I'm jumping ahead.
No, you're not. You're good.
I can see from your list here on the screen that I may be jumping ahead. And someone's looking at me like, you're screwing up my list.
Well, I have our little talking points so that we don't get all over the place. And here's what ends up happening. We talk all over the place. But it's fine. It's fine. No, but here's what I actually wanted to say is that when you're in that victim mentality, it's like all of us have been there, right? When it's like nothing's going your way. And what's happening is that you feel like things are against you. And so you need a fast way to feel like you matter, that you're important, that there's some value to you. And what's happening, maybe I've read some stuff about this before for my own self back in the day. Like when I went through my own victim stuff, like I'm a victim.
It's easy to slip into that.
It is easy to slip, especially when crappy things are happening in your life. Yes.
It's hard to not have that feeling of like, why is this happening to me? Like, this isn't fair.
Right.
I didn't create this. Like, why is this happening to me?
But what's happening in that moment is that you're desperate to feel that you're important. You're desperate to feel that you have value. And so what people do is they frame themselves as being unfairly punished. This is happening to me. It's happening to me. And in a way, when you have people that start to go, oh my gosh, you poor thing, or they're listening to you, it gives you this brief moment of feeling more loved or feeling like I'm getting attention. That must mean I have some value. And people like attention, and sometimes they like attention however they can get it, whether it's negative, whether it's pity, whatever that is, they'll take it. The thing is that it's a very temporary thing. And it's what happens is you're blocking yourself from the good things and all the potential that is in your life. It's like self-sabotage.
It literally will hold you back.
It holds you back. And the thing is that it's not to say that the problems and the struggles that you have don't exist. It's about the mindset that you have behind them. And when you have a victim mentality, you're just going to constantly attract those situations that you're complaining about. Because now you've created this cycle of, I'm going to get attention for it because people are going to listen to me and I can complain to them. Unless there's those some people that just start to write you off and you're like, why are those people writing me off? Why are they not taking my calls anymore? Oh, hint, they're sick of hearing you complain.
Have you ever wanted to send an anonymous message or letter to someone? For me, the most powerful therapy has always been to write. If I feel angry, sad, super inspired, or just wanting to feel understood, I write, and often I write letters to someone when those feelings involve a particular person. When it comes to divorce, co-parenting, step-parenting, new relationships, and everything that comes along with blended families, there tends to be a lot we don't say and a lot we wish we could say. And it feels so good writing a letter as if you were going to send it to that person. It's like this huge pressure off of your chest. It's kind of cathartic. Well, we want to offer you that forum where you can have a voice, anonymously, of course. If there's something you've always wanted to say to someone, but knew that out of respect or to save drama or because you knew it wouldn't be received well, Now is your chance to get it out there and have it be read, because we would like to serve as your voice. So here's what to do. Head over to everythingalways.co/forum. That's FORUM, everythingalways.co/forum, and fill out the form. We won't know who you are, as it will be sent to us totally anonymously. It just hits our inbox, but we have no idea who it's coming from. As they come in, we will be sharing these on the podcast. We'll be able to reply to you. You'll still remain anonymous unless you reply back. And we'll let you know if it will be featured. It's 100% confidential. So what do you say? Ready to get it off your chest? Okay, back to the episode.
Well, and I can tell you this, honestly, positive people that are moving forward will only hang out with people that are like complainers and negative for so long.
Yeah.
Because their personal success is based on the fact that no one is going to drag them down. That whole saying of like misery loves company. Make sure that all of your friends aren't miserable, because you might be in miserable company.
That's so true. Like, are you hanging out with other people that complain all the time? Okay, so if you're in this victim mentality, here's what it looks like. You're complaining all the time. It's like the first thing you say when you see someone or talk to someone.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
Oh man, everything's going to, I can't, you won't believe this. And then I got to this and then that happened to this.
Yeah. Oh, I don't have enough money. Oh, I'm so bloated. Oh, I'm so fat. Oh my gosh. And my ex-husband's being a nightmare. And it's like all this. I'm so exhausted. I'm so tired. I'm so busy. It's just complaint. But here's the other thing.
That just literally exhausted me.
Right? You already feel the energy suck.
I'm just like, I can't even do the rest of this podcast.
But wait, here's the thing also with victim mentality.
But wait, there's more.
It's never your fault though. It's always somebody else.
No
it's always
personal
something else.
Responsibility.
It's always happening to you. Why me? Why is the world against me?
I think I could go through every single one of the things that you just said and like actually explain why it's your own fault.
Everyone else is selfish. Everyone else is bad. You assume that something bad is about to happen. It's like always like something's going to drop. Or you already know what's going to happen.
You like buy a lottery ticket and you're like, there's no chance.
Yeah. It's like, oh, hey, well, why don't you, what do you think about, here's a way that you could solve the problem. I already know what's going to happen and they're going to say no. Well, why don't you ask your boss for a raise? No, I already know he's going to say no. Oh, okay. You already expect the worst is always going to happen. So you're just pretty much what's the point? Why even try anything? It's just doomsday all the time. Everyone's against you. Everyone's trying to take advantage of you. And the reason we're talking about this on this podcast is because people fall into that so easily in these situations.
You slip into it when you don't even know, because you're like, I'm a positive person. I'm happy. I try to do good. Everything in terms of like my situation is right. So you slip into it. You really have to set your mindset to be everything that is bad in my life is my own fault. I'm talking everything. Nasty, gnarly, bad things. It's your fault. One way or another, it's your fault. And I know, I'm going to challenge you guys. Can use the secret the secret email thing if you want to be like, explain how this is my fault, Mike. And then I'll be like, okay, let's do it. I challenge you. Bring it.
You totally
we have something coming up pretty soon where you're going to be able to text us and be like, all right.
We don't have it pretty soon. We have it right now, actually.
Let's launch it, not just talk about it. Oh, you want to secret launch it?
You just segued into that without any
Don't
warning?
You want to make it a thing where we talk about it because we have this new cool thing? How about we just say this, a little teaser. You're going to be able to text us directly soon.
They can do it right now. And anybody who's following us on social media knows they can.
Nobody has our phone number.
They do.
They do?
They do.
They do.
They do.
They've been texting you without texting me?
Here's the phone number, guys. Are you ready? If you want to actually text us.
I challenge you. Text me your complaint that's not your fault.
760-389-3722.
Do it one more time.
760-389-3722. You can also go to our Instagram link, the little
you're saying right now,
bio,
these
and you
can
click
pick up their phone
and
right
text
now and shoot us a text message.
Absolutely.
And you're going to wake up in the middle of the night and respond.
I'm not going to wake up in the middle of the night. I have boundaries.
Oh, wow. Fist bump.
Fist bump. Okay. Couple more things, signs of being a victim. See if this is you. Maybe it's not. And if it's not, congratulations. But you like the drama. Do you like the drama? Be real with yourself.
I'll be honest.
Are you attracted to the drama? Do you stir up drama? Do you spiral out of control every week or so?
You really like it.
Come on. When things get calm or you kind of like, I need to get mad at something. Tell the truth. And I also have an episode, if you listen to episode 51, it's all about the addiction to drama. So if you think this might be you, like, come on, just like take responsibility.
Yeah,
it's okay. It's okay. But just admit it. Another thing, you expect to be rescued. That's a big one.
Oh, you're throwing in another dimension.
You don't have enough money. You expect all the other people to give it to you.
It makes you feel good to be rescued.
If they give you advice on how to make more and here are the things that you can do, no, you don't understand. I can't do that. I can't do that. You ask for help, but you don't actually want the advice that's actually going to help you. You want to just be saved. You want to just be rescued. Just get me out of the situation. I don't want to take me to the water, but don't teach me how to drink the water.
That's a different thing. That's making bread or wine.
No, you can lead the horse to the water.
But you can't make it drink.
You can't make it drink.
But you can't make wine either because horses can't make wine.
I don't know. Maybe I totally messed that whole thing up.
I'm not really sure. I'm pretty sure you got it right and I messed it up. You know what? I would have gotten it right, but unfortunately, I just can't get things right.
Yeah, you know what? I just don't understand.
It's not my fault. It's the environment.
Think of this. Here's another thing of people with, that are struggling with this is that look at the relationships in your life. Do the friendships or the romantic relationships, do they tend to be really hard and like a roller coaster, like really great, like so good one day and then really bad the next, like lots of conflict happening?
Ooh, high conflict.
Right? And the other thing I said a little bit earlier is that you may start to notice that certain people are distancing themselves from you.
Positive people.
Or just the people that are offering advice, but you're just not listening to it. And then you start to call them, they just don't have compassion.
Well, I can tell you, high achievers and very positive people are really great in times of need to call in because they will activate for you in a real situation. If you're down and out or if something's happened, those type of people will come to your aid and help you 100%.
Yeah.
What they won't do is stick around and muddle in the mire and hang out in the mud with you because they will be like, you are going to drown me. So bye-bye.
Yeah. You should actually learn from them too, because maybe you need to be doing the same thing with negative people in your life that are drowning you and keeping you stuck in that
I just
struggle.
think it's cool that I use the word mire. Where did that even come from?
Great job.
I feel like it came from a kid's book or something. From yonder years. Yonder.
Look at you with all the words tonight.
Wow.
I feel like you just did a fake, when you tighten your tie. You just did that and you're wearing a t-shirt. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. So none of this stuff sounds good though, right? If you were relating to all that stuff, you're like, I do that. I would hope you're immediately saying, I don't want to do that anymore. How do I reverse it?
Just change your mind. Take responsibility is the number one thing.
That's so hard.
Take responsibility for where you are, for the decisions that you've made, for the thing that you have created, your space, all of those things. Take responsibility for it and make a conscious decision to move forward.
That means everything. That means if you got divorced and you're just hell-bent on it's her fault. The reason we got divorced is her fault. Take responsibility.
Yeah, you married her. You made those choices.
You made the choice to marry that person.
You laid the bed. How about you get out of that bed that you laid and make new choices?
Yes, it's true. I mean, all the situations that we're in, we are responsible. If you're fighting with your partner right now, if you're fighting with your co-parent, you're both responsible. It's not just one or the other. And the other thing too is really to acknowledge why you're doing this. Really see why, what is the gain for you? Is it that little piece of attention that you're getting? Is that what you need? Do you need to feel important? really think about how does acting this way help you win? It's so hard to take responsibility. It's so hard to acknowledge that you might be engaging in some immature behavior. But if you can really look at it and go, well, I guess the reason I do this is because it makes me feel like I'm in the right. And when I'm in the right, then it makes my ego feel better. And then this happens and that happens and blah, blah, blah. Like just acknowledge the reasons that you do this. And if you can actually really start to, have that moment of like truth with yourself, then you can start to go, okay, there's other things that actually are the real reason why I am important, not because of my complaining. There's other things like I'm a good mom and that makes me important. I'm a human being and that makes me important. There's so many different things where you don't need all of that complaining and all these excuses to be important. There's so many other great things.
It's just going to hold you back.
It's just going to hold you back. And you're limiting yourself from the potential of things because all of your energy is going to trying so hard to feel important by the bad things in your life instead of.
Here's the thing too, like perspective is really sometimes hard to have, and not to be all kidding aside, but we only get one chance on this earth. We get one chance to do the greatest things. And living in negativity is going to hold you back, right? Not taking responsibility is going to hold you back. Take the time to figure out like what you want to do. Lay the road. Make the path.
Yep.
Do the things that are going to take you like to the place that you dream to be. I don't know. It is sad because we're all mortal.
And we're all going to make mistakes all the time, every time. And even when we learn from stuff, sometimes we repeat the mistakes. But taking responsibility and acknowledging all these things, those are so important, but it's also so important to forgive yourself when you haven't done things the way that you wish you would have. You know what I mean? Like looking back and forgiving yourself for complaining, forgive yourself for all of those things. But part of that is taking responsibility.
Another good podcast topic, letting go of hate. Right?
Letting go of hate. Yeah.
Right. Because you hate yourself, you hate other people, like the things.
Yeah.
Those things consume you. It's like a whole nother thing. We should talk about that sometime because I actually know a lot about it.
Yeah, that's true.
I might get deep.
Really, as you move forward is to look at what you have to be grateful for, because one of those exercises, and some of you have heard this before, is that whenever you are feeling down or complaining or like, oh, everything's just awful right now, is thinking about, does somebody else have it worse? And I'm going to guess that most of the time you're going to say yes. The people that are listening to this, does somebody have it worse than you do? Like, who wishes that they were in your situation over theirs? I can pretty much guarantee that you can find someone.
100%. So appreciation.
And the last thing, because I love this one, I think I've said it on other episodes before, is when you are feeling all wrapped up in the negative things that are happening in your life, is to turn the attention away from you and to someone else. What can you do to bring value to someone else? Because the truth of the matter is that in life, we've experienced this. Good things and bad things are happening simultaneously. It's very rare that it's just all good. It's really just about our perception and where we focus. You can have, things that are happening literally at the same time. It could be you come home and you're like, I just got a promotion at my job. And your husband's like, I actually just lost my job. You know what I mean? Like there's things that are happening at the same time. One's good, one's negative. You could be getting married. It could be your wedding day. And at the same time, you have to go to court the next week because your ex is suing you for something. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, Literally, it can be like, so where you have the choice, what you're going to focus on. And you can be all doom and gloom, or you can look at what are the really positive things happening in my life. And when I feel super negative about something, what is something that I can do for somebody else so that it's not all about me and the negativity and all that's going on? Like, what can I do to bring value to somebody else? Because immediately when you do that, you feel better every time. You just do. Because it's not about what you're going through. It's now about what can I do for someone else?
It's true. Very true. This has been a pretty good episode.
It's been good.
We got a little fiery. I think we said the same thing a bunch of times, but you know what? Hopefully it resonates, and it's the kind of thing that you're going to be like, you know what? I'm going to take a look inside and I'm going to figure out, am I falling into this trap or am I deep in it? How do I dig myself out of it? And now that you've got our phone number, you can text us. I can't wait till that phone's just like ringing in the middle of the night and Summer's like, yes, I'll answer.
All right, you guys, thank you so much for listening. I hope this was helpful, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much for listening. And we like to say, if you enjoyed this episode, share it with someone you love and be bold enough to share it with someone you don't. See you next time.